Today on Teuty's track analysis, we have the track of the day for March 3rd, NEO-CUPRA Ultimo Galactic Rush by Florentius. Ultimo Galactic Rush is a speed fun track made from the surfaces magnet, road, and dirt. It also has a large variety of special blocks, of which are Super Turbo Boost, Reactor Boost, Super Reactor Boost, Slow Motion, and Reset. The track does feature a GPS as well as a single finish. It does have some speed checks and it does have a skip at the start. I found the track to be a little bit more difficult than an average track, rating it a 6 out of 10. I completed the track with a time of 51.617. This is roughly 4.5 seconds ahead of the gold medal time and 0.7 of a second ahead of the author medal time. The visuals of the track are fantastic, however the route features a wide variety of issues I will go over shortly. With that said, I'm going to rate it a minus. For today's analysis, we are using the current top time driven by Elcon. They had a time of 49.273, and this is 2.344 ahead of my personal best. Immediately at the start of the track, we'll have a very big jump. At the end of the jump where you land, there is a bunch of backwards super turbo boost, which slow you down a ton. You have the ability to attempt to skip over those boosts. This can be achieved by either releasing the gas during this jump or braking during this jump to give yourself a lower trajectory, so when you hit the edge of the magnet block that is coming up, your car will bounce up a little bit and you will jump over those backwards boosts. The difference between me and the world record here is that they braked midair while I released. Whether or not one is better than the other, I don't really know. There's a bit of luck involved on the bounce itself. I'll unfortunately end up clipping the backwards booster here a little bit, while the world record is able to basically clear all of them. After this skip though, there's not a lot going on for this next part. It is all full speed and pretty simple. All you have to do is drive clean lines. Of course, that skip at the start was one major issue I had, and right here will be another. This little slowdown part to the reset is a bit of a speed check. It's not the most difficult to get across, however, kind of felt like no matter the speed I had here, I would randomly clip the edge of the other side. What the cause of this is, I don't really know. Possibly it's if you are turning off of this, maybe your wheels dip down a little bit and cause you to clip. I'm not really sure, but it was rather annoying to clip here and lose a massive amount of speed for really no reason. Coming up though, we'll have another massive jump, which I have a few things to go over for it. The first thing is that if you do get the skip at the beginning and you have a ton of speed here, you will most likely have to release because there is a booster on the ground at the end of this that you really need to grab. And if you have a ton of speed here, you can easily over jump it. The second thing I want to go over is that while you are mid-air here, you want to tap a little bit to the right so your car starts spinning that direction. You want to be angled this way when you land to make the next turn far easier and smoother. The third and final thing I want to point out here is that the world record had so much speed they actually hit the top of this reset here, which pushes them very quickly back down to the bottom so they can start accelerating much quicker than you otherwise would. For the wall ride, you want to enter pretty high just above this white line and remain on that somewhat high line throughout the majority of the turn. However, on the exit, you want to just be going over the white line. You can see here that I left a little bit too low, not the biggest deal, but you can see the skid marks of the world record line here just to the left of my car. For the upcoming bank dirt turn, you need to turn into this pretty hard to the left, otherwise you will slide much too high up to the right on the entrance. You also can probably take this full speed. I just did one small release in here to make it a little bit easier. For the upcoming road section, you'll have two turns in which you need to release the gas on. Obviously, the smaller the release, the better, to keep as much speed here through the final section. The end of this track has a major issue with this back-to-back slow-mo rings. For whatever reason, randomly when you drive through this, you will get double effects of both of them, slowing you down a massive amount into the end. This double slowdown issue caused me to lose about a 1 second PB here. I was about 0.7 of a second ahead of my personal best, and by the time I got to the finish, I was about 1.7 seconds behind. So that is a massive slowdown. My final issue with the track is pretty much every single standing respawn on this track spawns you at a standstill. And with a track that features this much speed, that just cannot be the case. In combination with that standing respawn and the checkpoints being so far apart, if you have to do a standing respawn on this track, you're probably getting put 20 seconds plus behind. But basically that's it for the track here. You just got to drive straight through this and pray you don't get the bug here through the slow-mos. Could be a little bit of a longer final thoughts today. I want to go over this track as well as the NEO-CUPRA tracks in general, as this was the final NEO-CUPRA track to be made. For the series in general, I think I enjoyed maybe a third of the tracks, so that is not a fantastic ratio, and it seems like the large majority of the player base also did not enjoy most of them. And that comes from things included in today's track like weird skips, or bugs with things, or just generally uncalculated routes throughout the series. Another issue is that these tracks were also free, giving beginners a very poor experience on these tracks and possibly turning them away from the game. You can try to make the track itself look as good as possible, but if the route itself is either too hard or very unfun to drive, it is not going to be an enjoyable experience. It was a little bit of a unique and interesting experience. I am somewhat glad to see the series go. One thing I am looking forward to that came out of the series is the scenery and mods being released to the public to help create their tracks. Overall, the scenery on these tracks were all fantastic, so I'm excited to see what other people can do with them. That'll do it for the NEO-CUPRA series and this video though. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Check the description for links to my Twitch and Discord, and be sure to check out all the other track analysis videos out on the channel already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one.